There are so many fun things we all can do to be healthier, no matter who you are or where you are. So let's move.
Oh, here we go.
Let's stretch in the grass.
What a play!
Let's play tag.
Wow, unbelievable.
Let's jump up and down.
Oh, what a way to finish it.
And most of all, let's eat better so that we have the energy we need to play an hour a day, every day.
Everyone can play. Just go to letsmove.gov to learn more.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. My special guest today, Nikki Deleon. Nikki, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for coming today. I know you got a busy schedule.
Me. Yeah.
Nikki is a caseworker at Job and Family Services, working in Child Protective Services, and also an avid runner, athlete, trainer, all those things that you're doing.
Yeah. Busy lady.
Busy lady, absolutely. The better half of Zach DeLeon. You need to say that.
Sure. We'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll go with it. We'll run with it. That's fine. You just competed in the Boston Marathon.
I did. Just 2 weeks ago.
And you did very well from what I heard.
Well, it wasn't my fastest time yet, but there were some weather conditions that I, not used to running in, so that kind of played a role. But it was a great day, a good race, and had an amazing time. It was a great experience.
Now, was this your first time, or was it?
It was my first time in Boston. Yes, my husband Zach ran Boston 2 years ago for his first time, and it's a race that you have to qualify for. So you don't just register for it and sign up and go run it. You have to have a qualifying time.
So when you do that, first, was it everything you expected? When you got, how many people were there? How many ran?
There were, I think, 26,000 approximately registered for the race. So by far the largest race that I've ever participated in. There weren't that many people that actually ran because of the heat. They offered a deferment so that you could run the next year because of the conditions. And so I think there were about 22,000 that actually ran, 21,000 that finished. So it was huge, and it was better than I expected, actually. I don't think I really had any idea what a big deal the Boston Marathon was. I mean, I knew, but once you're actually there, it was kind of staggering, actually, how exciting it was.
When you got there, did you think, well, I can't compete with these people. I just can't do it.
Right, yeah. I wanted to have a personal record going to Boston. That was my goal. That's what I trained for. But then once we got there and we heard that the heat index was going to be so high, it was right around 79 degrees, 80 degrees at the start, and at the finish, I think it was 85 to 90. It was very warm, much warmer than I was used to training in. Yeah, so I knew that I was going to have to back off the pace because I just wanted to finish standing up, not have any kind of heat stroke or anything.
That's a plus.
Like that.
That's a plus.
So we kind of went at it with a different attitude than we did, than we had planned, and it was going to be an experience, and I wanted to enjoy it.
Now, did you run with Zach? Or?
I ran with my good friend Jill Allen.
Right.
Training partner and trainer. She actually helped me train, and she was the first person that really planted the seed that I could even qualify and attempt to run Boston last year when we were training for a marathon. So thanks goes to her for planting that seed and believing in me before I even believed in myself that that's something that I could accomplish. So it was great.
How did you get started in running? Did you just one day decide to run? Or?
Yeah, well, Zach has always been a runner. And after the birth of our first child, Cole, he just turned 10, I had some baby weight to lose, wanted to get back in shape, and that was his suggestion, was to start running.
That was his suggestion?
Yeah. And
How did that go over?
I was receptive to it because I was ready to do something different. I'd always been active, done aerobics and this and that, but nothing that was real effective in losing weight or managing weight. So I started off like most people do and started for a 5K. And then during the 5K, I kind of decided, maybe I could keep going and do a 10K. And it just kind of progressed from there until I did my first marathon in 2004 at the Columbus Marathon. So, and from there, Boston was my fifth. And I've said, after I've had 2 other children, and after each child, I've trained for a marathon. That's my plan to get myself back in shape, is to train for a marathon, and it seems to have worked.
Now, take us through a normal training day, week. What do you run? I've heard people that run marathon will run one right before that. Just take us through a normal week or month of training, whatever.
Yeah. Well, our training started back in January. We usually do about 4 months of training. That's about 16 weeks. It's kind of a typical program. And I have, over the last year and a half, incorporated cross-training in there as well. So I'm not just running, and that seems to have helped a lot. But we always have a long run each week, and that's usually on your Saturday or Sunday when you have time to spare, rather than a work day. And then we always do some speed work, so some kind of workout where we're trying to go faster in a shorter period of time. And then usually a hill workout too, each week. And those workouts vary, but it's sticking to those. I think those 3, and then there's some other runs kind of figured in there, scattered in there. But that's kind of the basic training plan. Prior to training for, or trying to qualify for Boston, I had never really done that speed work or those hill workouts, just because those are not very fun workouts. You really have to be disciplined to make yourself do those, but having a training partner and a group to run with really makes all the difference, and that's where you can really see your improvements.
Now, you're involved in a program called FIT, Fairfield in Training. Talk a little bit about that.
Fairfield in Training. It's a marathon training group, but we actually have kind of broadened our scope a little bit over the past this year, and we've established a 5K, 10K group as well. So we started out training people here in Fairfield County for a half marathon or a marathon. We start in January for a spring race, and then we start in July for a fall race. So we have 2 sessions each year. This is our 5th session, so we've done it for 2 years, and it's been great. And we started it, my husband and I, with our good friends Rob and Jill Allen, also runners, and just because we have a passion for running, wanting to share it with others, encourage others as a healthy for a healthy lifestyle and a good way to socialize with other people in the community that share, a common interest, and stick with a program and set a goal. And so we've had a lot of success. We have about 100 members this past
Now,
session.
are they different ages? Or
Yeah.
what's the youngest you could do, I guess?
All different ability levels, all different ages, shape, size, you name it. I mean, we've got, I think probably our youngest participant right now is the daughter of one of our runners, and she's a fit member. She is, I think she's a freshman in high school, and so when she's not running track or cross country, or training with her team, she's training with Fairfield in Training on Saturdays. We meet for group runs at least once a week. But we also have some runs, organized speed workouts throughout the week too that we've added, and that's been fun.
If somebody wanted to be in touch, call you. Is there a number, website?
We actually have a website. It's pretty awesome website. It's just fairfieldandtraining.com, www.fairfieldandtraining.com. And we have everything's online now, so we have our training schedule on there. Once you've enrolled, then you'll be able to access, the specific plan. But we do a training plan for whatever race you're planning on running, whether it's 5K, 10K, half marathon, or a marathon. And then we'll support you along the way, answer any questions, get out there on group runs with you, organize the runs, route the runs. All of that. So it's awesome. We've had some great friendships that we've formed, people that we've made contact with that we probably our paths never would have crossed before. And it's awesome to see people meet their goals and do things that they never thought they could do, and then reap the benefits too of running and feeling healthier and being more confident. And
one of the things that people, in this age, nutrition, balance, I know you're involved in a program called Avocare.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about just, maybe your diet and things like that,
Sure.
and some of the things that you do to prepare yourself for running.
Yeah, like I said, I've always been physically active, and started running to reap those benefits as far as, weight management and getting back in shape after pregnancies and such. But about 2 years ago, my friend Jill introduced me to AdvoCare and my husband as well, just because I wasn't getting over that hump. I had kind of reached a plateau.
Right.
And even though I was running regularly, I wasn't really reaching
When you say regularly,
goals.
you run every day then?
I run probably at least 4 times a week. Yeah, 3 to 4 times a week. As far as you add cross training in there. So
Right.
yeah, not every day. We need some recovery days there. So yeah, with AdvoCare, that was kind of the other piece of the puzzle that really made the difference for me as far as making some great gains in my overall fitness and losing those few last pounds that I had carried probably since college. So that nutrition piece of it was huge, and something that I thought, well, I ran a few miles today. I could probably go out and have a nice dinner, but you don't realize how those little things add up.
Right.
And so once you kind of take a step back and really try to get your nutrition on track, that makes all the difference. And adding in the nutrition that I was missing, even if I was trying to eat a healthy diet, there was probably some gaps in my nutrition. And so with AdvoCare, which is a nutritional wellness company, I have been able to fill those gaps and have made some great advances, as far as lost a few more pounds and inches and then gained a lot of muscle. And I think I'm stronger as far as my recovery and when I do a long run, I'm ready to get back out there on the road quicker, and my body is more prepared to do that kind of training.
When you run a marathon, how long does it take for you to get back into it? I mean, do you take a couple of days off and start again? Or?
Yeah, I think it depends on the runners. Some people are, depending on how well you're trained, I think. It's obviously a direct correlation there, but when we ran Boston, for instance, just a couple of weeks ago, the next day we were out sightseeing, walking the Freedom Trail in Boston and all over. I mean, I would have liked to have had my Garmin, my satellite tracker, to see how far we actually walked on Tuesday, because we were all over that city. So it depends, but we're already back at it and actually looking towards our next event to train for. So for some, it's a couple of days. For others, it's a couple of weeks. But personally, I like to get right back out there.
Now, are you one that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go run, or are you one of those that late at night run? Or
No, I'm an early bird. That's the only. We have 4 children, work full time. If I don't do it first thing in the morning, my day is going to get away from me, and it's not going to happen. And then I'm going to be frustrated at the end of the day. So I find that it's best to get up early and do it, and then I'm raring to go for the day.
Now,
So.
do you like to run with Zach, or you go run, I'll go run?
We do enjoy running together, and actually when I ran last spring in Cincinnati to qualify for Boston, he paced me through the marathon, and so that was great. And we do enjoy running together, but just with children, we don't have the opportunity to do that. So he has a training partner, I have a training partner, and that's usually we tag team with the kids, and we make it work. And we do what we call family workouts every now and then. So on the weekends, we'll take the baby joggers out and the bikes, and it's a big, huge clan of people running down the bike path or down the streets of Lancaster, and that's fun because obviously setting a good example for the kids, and they like that too. So
now, are there any marathons you want to run in? I mean, here in the country or outside the country? Or?
Yeah. I have my sights right now on an ultra marathon, possibly,
which
would be about anything past 26 miles is
an ultra. Okay.
So there's a 50-miler coming up here in June at Mohican State Park.
50 miles?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that I'm started the training for, and so I'm hoping that I make it there in June. So we'll see how that goes. It's quite a bit more rigorous training than a marathon, and I'm trying to build off the last training season with Boston. So we'll see. But there's marathons all over the country, all over the world that I'd love to do, but I think once our children get a little bit older and are able to get away a little bit easier, those will be things that trips that we'll definitely plan and look forward to. So
that'd be neat. Yeah. That's interesting. Now you run in Boston, you run in Cincinnati. Where else? In
Columbus. Yeah, I've done Cincinnati 3 times actually, and I haven't gone outside of those 3 right now.
Now, are they different courses? Are they flat courses? Are they hilly courses? What?
Yeah, they're different. Columbus they advertise flat and fast course.
Flat and fast.
Flat and fast. So lots of people like to try to qualify at Columbus, and it's a loop. And Cincinnati is hilly. I mean, just that's what they're.
Right.
The area. It's a difficult course, but I think they have great support along the course. That makes a big difference. And then Boston was a point-to-point, so that was the first time that we had to take a bus ride out 26 miles, which was actually an hour bus ride. I'm not sure how that works out, but an hour bus ride to get all the runners out 26 miles, and then run back towards Boston. So that was different. I'd never done that before. And it had some hills as well. Heartbreak Hill, right around mile 21 that everybody has heard of. But honestly, after training in Fairfield County, because we have lots of hills, it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, obviously it was tough, but I think I was well prepared for it.
Now, by entering the Boston Marathon, do you qualify for next year, or do you have to finish within a certain?
Yeah, you can qualify for the next year if you finish in your qualifying time. I didn't do that this year.
What did you run in? It was pretty good.
4 hours.
4 hours is pretty good.
My qualifying time was 3 hours and 45 minutes is what I had to do for my age.
Okay.
And I beat that by 5 minutes, 3 hours and 40 minutes last year in Cincinnati. So my goal was to run between a 3:30 and a 3:40 this year. But again, because of the weather, that just wasn't in the cards. But if I had, then I could run Boston next year, and that's what some people do.
Right. Now, you mentioned qualifiers. You have to go to different. How many qualifiers do you have to go to get to, like, the Boston Marathon?
Just one race within a certain time period prior to the race the Boston Marathon that you want to run in. So for me, it was Cincinnati last year, and they have those based on your age group and male or female, what your qualifying time is. And I was really fortunate the first time that I kind of set my sights on that and went after it, I qualified. So, and then you have so long to actually enter and run it. Now, my husband, for instance, his qualifying time was a 3:10 marathon.
Wow.
So that's flying. And it took him a couple of attempts to get that qualifying time. So he had to go through, all that training period and register for a race and run it.
Right.
And, everybody pulling for you that you're going to get your time.
Right.
So it took him a couple of attempts, and that's not uncommon. So.
You have 3 kids.
Yes, I have a stepdaughter that's actually a senior this year. She's graduating.
Is it hard to transfer your thoughts about nutrition to them?
It's not actually. It's our lifestyle. As far as being physically active and exercising and getting our runs in. I mean, my 2-year-old talks about getting her running shoes out and wanting to go to fit with us on Saturday mornings, and she doesn't want to run in a baby jogger anymore. She wants to run. So that's kind of.
So I'm assuming then they're not sitting around drinking Mountain Dew and eating and things like that.
No Mountain Dew. No, they're drinking Rehydrate and trying to sneak a sip of my Spark every now and then. But no, it's really not difficult. And for our meals, our fresh fruits and veggies and lean meats. I mean, they're right on board with that.
So are they runners too? Then are they getting in?
My stepdaughter, my 17-year-old, she is a runner as well. She's in track right now and has talked about when is she going to run her first half marathon. So that's exciting. And the other 3 I think will definitely follow in our footsteps as well. I don't know if they'll have a choice. We're going to be going out there anyways.
You're going to go anyway.
We'll just drag them along. But I think so. I think that they'll probably want to do that as well.
In sports, whatever sport you're in, there's always new equipment that comes out, whether you're water skiing, playing golf, tennis rackets, whatever it might be. Talk about shoes.
Yeah.
If somebody were going to go out and get shoes, what should they look for?
Yeah, well, we recommend going to one of the specialty running stores rather than, one of the general, the big name department store like sporting goods stores. There are several great running shoe stores. There's one in Pickerington actually that we refer all our runners to, Columbus Running Company. And Zach's cousin is actually one of the owners of Columbus Running Company, and so that's kind of where we funnel all of our runners to. But they do a great job of assessing, your stride and how your foot falls and what type of shoe is going to fit you best. And then as far as, if the shoe doesn't work, they're going to take it back and get you into the right shoe. Right. So that's what we recommend. And there's so many options. And you can go in to any store and pick out the prettiest shoe or the shoe that you think looks the coolest. Sure. But whether or not it feels good on the road after you've been out there a couple of hours is a different story. So I think taking the time to go to one of those stores is definitely the best route.
People starting out just running, and they say, "Oh, gee, I ran 3 miles today." But then, should they run 3 miles every day, or a beginning? Someone just listening to the show or watching the show that, gee, I've never run before, but I want to. Sure. I know it's going to be based on individuals, but just consistency.
I think consistency is a huge part of it, and we talk about like the talk test when you're just out for a regular run.
The talk test.
Yeah, being able to
like
carry on a conversation. Yeah, being able to carry on a conversation.
All the time. Okay.
If you're so out of breath that you can't even
People
talk.
walk in my office and no one's talking to themselves.
Yeah, sort of like that, except you're moving. You could do that. And then as far as increasing your mileage and trying to kind of go beyond your comfort zone, if you're comfortable at that 3 miles and you could do that every day of the week and not break a sweat, then you need to step it up and get out of your comfort zone. But not increasing your mileage by more than 10% in a week. In a week, because that's just going to set yourself up.
Should you run with somebody to start? Or
I would recommend that. I think that's a good way to stay accountable. So that you have somebody there that's waiting for you at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it's a lot easier to get out of bed when you know somebody's waiting on you than just getting out there by yourself. So I think definitely finding a running buddy is a huge part of it, and someone to push you a little bit too when you might feel like you want to walk, that can kind of keep you moving, and that that works back and forth. So I think consistency is a huge part of it, because it takes time and sticking with it, and you will make advances and improve over time, but it's just sticking with it. So, and it's becoming comfortable with being out of breath and pushing yourself. If you're not used to that, then our beginner runners say all the time, is it okay that I can't breathe, that I'm out of, that's what it's all about. This isn't supposed to be easy, but you get comfortable with that. So
have you ever had an injury that you had to postpone things?
I've been very fortunate. My injuries have been very minor, nothing that I've even had to seek treatment for physical therapy or anything like that. So it's usually maybe a strained muscle or something of that sort, a joint that's a little achy, ISID, ibuprofen, and usually in a couple extra rest days, and I'm usually back on my feet. So I've been very fortunate, but a lot of runners do struggle with injury, and that's something that they have to work through, but I think that they can.
What about stretching? People always talk about, well, you need to stretch before and after. I mean, do you do stretching, a routine that you have? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't have a routine, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a great stretcher. We encourage our runners to stretch more afterwards than before, once their muscles are all warmed up. Maybe ease into their run with a warm up, a slower pace or even a brisk walk. And then after the run, I think is what we've kind of been leaning towards more, is having our runners run after their muscles are kind of warmed up. But not anything extensive, anything that takes a lot of time, and again, I'm always short on time and moving on to the next thing, so if there's something that's going to get cut short, it might be my stretching.
It might be your stretching to do. That's well, Nikki, we just have a few minutes left.
Sure.
and we appreciate you coming in. Information again about FIT website, and somebody's interested in Avocare, call you. What should they do?
Actually, right through our website, fairfieldandtraining.com, we have a link right there. Myself and my husband, and then the Allens as well, have a link on our website, so you can get in contact with us through Fairfield and Training. That would be a great way for us to get in touch with someone that was interested in either getting started with running or with a nutritional plan or both. So we can do all of that right there.
And I'm actually doing Avocare. I've lost 5 pounds in about 3 weeks.
That's
so,
awesome.
I've lost some inches too. So it seems to be working.
Yeah,
So
it's the real deal.
Yeah, it is the real deal. How did you find out about Avocare? Through Jill.
Through Jill. Yep. Mm-hmm. She knew that I had some baby weight that I wanted to lose, and
because your husband told you.
Right. No, he didn't tell me.
We're not going to let Zach forget that. Zach, you're not going to forget it.
Right. Yeah. Back in the door corner there. Yeah. So this is my stress management actually. Running. Very busy, but I find that I'm a better mother, I'm a better social worker, I'm a better wife, friend than when I'm running than when I'm not. Because that's my outlet, that's my time to myself, and I think that everybody needs to find that certain something that does that for you, that coping mechanism, and that's what running does for me. So.
Well, Nikki, we do appreciate you coming in and spending time with us today. And
thank you.
When is the next marathon you're going to go after?
We'll see if this 50-miler pans out in June.
That's
yeah.
Right. The ultra marathon.
Yeah. So that's
good
it.
Luck. We're rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Langston Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
Weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.